Hi, I'm Trisha at Club Scrap. Thank you so much for joining me for the Luminary Page Kit workshop. We are about to make 8 beautiful pages together, and this again is using that stunning Luminary Page Kit. I think these layouts would be beautiful for any special occasion. They were inspired by a beautiful light display at a local museum here in the area in Oshkosh, Wisconsin, and I think you're going to have a lot of fun putting these pages together with me. Now to get started, I have my paper elements removed from the page kit. I've printed my Luminary instructions, and those come as a download with your kit purchase. So if you're having trouble finding those, on our website we have an instructions tab, or a resources tab rather, and under that there's instructions. So click on that and search for Luminary. You will find it there. I'm also using my little custom-made organizer. This I call the Accordion Pocket File. It helps us stay organized while we efficiently trim all of the papers required for 8 whole pages. This lip fits under the base of my trimmer, which I also love. So if you don't already have a trimmer like this, I encourage you to treat yourself to a really usable, long-lasting workhorse of a tool. Okay, so let's begin with some filing. Now, if you're not using the Accordion Pocket File, let's do the project anyway and just maintain 4 separate piles: 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6, 7 and 8, maybe label them with some post-it notes or something. And I'm going to have you take one of those dark purple photo mats. Now these are the smaller pieces trimmed and in your kit. So one of these goes in pocket 1 and 2. And then also find one of the green, it's like a goldish green photo mat. We're calling it green. Let's see, then we're going to go 2 dark purple for pocket 3 and 4. And 2 cream speckle. You'll notice right away what that one looks like. 2 of those also in pocket 3 and 4. And then 1 green in 3 and 4 as well. And the nice part is if I'm going too fast, you can play back at a slower speed by going to your YouTube settings. All right, next, 3 light purple photo mats in pocket 5 and 6. 1 cream speckle also in 5 and 6. And then your last green photo mat in 7 and 8. Very good. Now we're going to take the 12 by 12 paper that we got in the kit, and I like to hold it in my lap or the crook of my arm, and then we're going to sort through this and put the paper in the order in which we'll use it during the trimming and finishing process. So we're going to start out with this round medallion print. I'm not sure if it's on the top of your stack or not, but it's on the top of mine. You can see it's roundish and has this purple edge on there. And then go back to a green photo mat, or I'm sorry, a green 12 by 12. Make sure it's a plain green, just one of those, I believe. The cream speckle, so 1 of those. And 1 sheet of dark purple. Oh, and this purple is just absolutely stunning, a nice heavy stock. Then from usually the back of the pack, Deb collates all these with love by hand here at the warehouse, and she always puts the Cutaparts on the bottom. I'm looking for the one that says "We Shine Brighter Together," and then it's got these light purple borders on the right edge. Let's put that face down, and then it's your light that lights the world. That'll go face down next. Continuing on, we're going to find 1 of that cream speckle, and then 1 of that square medallion print. So it's kind of a square. You can kind of see that. It's got a lot of gold on it. So stunning. Okay, then a dark purple. And again, if I'm going too fast, you can pause until you regroup, whatever you need to do for your personal pacing. Then another round medallion print. The remaining square medallion print. And the remaining green. And finally, you should have 2 light purple. Okay, take that whole stack, turn it right back over again where we started, and let's get trimming. Let's take this stunning medallion print, and I keep saying the word stunning because it is so pretty. I'm going to put it in the trimmer so that this purple edge, and this is called bokeh, when you see that little glimmer like that's sometimes created by sunshine, that'll be on the right. And let's cut at 9 1/4. So when you do, make sure your paper is level at the top here, that you're at 9 1/4 inches, not centimeters way up here. This is inches, so 9 1/4. Make sure you stabilize on this clear bar here with your left hand while you pull the blade down with your right. And then allow that paper to stack up to the right side of the blade without moving it until I instruct you to do so. Next, we'll slide down to 7 1/4. And then finally 5. And that's it for the trimming on that piece. Now let's file these pieces. This first one goes in pocket 1 and 2, and I always mention that this is 12 inches wide and so is my unit. So when I file this, I do it at an angle. So it's angling off out of this side of the pocket where I can still see the numbers. I avoid putting it in here because I don't want to put undue weight on the unit either. So this diagonal seems to work the best, just from experience, okay, and a lot of it. All right, the next strip here goes in pocket 5 and 6, and the following, pocket 3 and 4. And that's why I don't want you to move things around, because I can just say the next one. And finally, this last wider strip in 7 and 8. And we'll move on to the green. And let's begin here at 11 1/4, 10 1/2, 8 1/4, and 5 3/4. Now you'll rotate this 5 3/4 by 12, and let's trim that at 11 1/4, 7 1/2, 3 3/4. Now if everything went according to plan, you should have 3 pieces the same size, lo and behold, and they're all going to go in pocket 1 and 2. And I apologize, but this is a scrap. It won't be used. I'm just going to set it aside. If you want to find a home for it, have at it. Now the next strip, which is 2 1/2 by 12, I'm going to rotate it so it's horizontal and cut at 10, 7 1/2, 5, 2 1/2. Okay, here we've made a series of squares and then a smaller rectangle. So 1, 2, 3, 4 squares, all go in pocket 7 and 8, and then the smaller one, 3 and 4. The next strip, we go at 11 1/4. This is 2 1/4 by 12, by the way. 11 1/4, 8, and 4 3/4. This longer strip and then the very next one, both go in pocket 1 and 2. And this last piece here, 5 and 6. A little scrap fell off the end, so sorry. Now we have 2 narrow, longer strips left. One of them goes in pocket 1 and 2, again at that angle, and the other in 3 and 4. Before I turn to the next page of instructions, let's grab that doily. We need to do a little trimming on this too before we move on. And if it's in your kit, maybe grab it out of the bag. And I'm going to have you start by trimming this at 5 1/2. So take the furthest piece, area of the doily, and put it in at 5 1/2. And just give that a slice. And then I'll have you rotate the piece that's in the trimmer right now so that the straight edge is at the top. Now bring the left edge of the doily to the 5-inch mark. So just the furthest to the left piece, that's all there is to it. Now this one that's in your trimmer base right now, put it in pocket 1 and 2. And then the other one can go in 5 and 6. And the large half circle, also page 1 and 2. Okay, that was easy. Now I'm going to move on to page 2 of my instructions, and if you've been around for a while, you're going to notice a little bit of a formatting change I did to improve readability of the instructions. I hope you like that update. I sure do, even as I'm teaching it to you right now. All right, let's start at 10 3/4, 8 1/2, and 6 1/4. Rotate the 6 1/4 and trim at 8 1/2 and 4 1/4. And that's going to give you 2 photo mats for pocket 7 and 8. All right, and then we have this little rectangle also that fell off the end. It's a little narrower than those other mats. Let's trim this horizontally at 6 and 3. Gather up those 2 rectangles and place them in pocket 5 and 6. And we did create, once again, I'm sorry, but another little scrap. It's more than I usually have, I'm just saying. Now you have 2 pieces that are 2 1/4 by 12. Take one of them and we'll trim at 9. and 6 1/4. Remember, every one of these cuts has a purpose, okay? All three of the pieces you just created, they go on page 3 and 4, so pocket 3 and 4. And the next 2 1/4 by 12, we're going to cut this one at 11 and 7 3/4. That's a pretty long piece here. This long one goes in 7 and 8. There's one that's slightly shorter here, 3 and 4. And they have a little bitty piece. Once again, it's a scrap. And one more strip here that's long will go in 7 and 8. Getting there, my friends. Almost done. We have one more sheet and then 2 sheets of Cutaparts, and then we're ready to do our dry fit assembly and learn some more about these layouts. So we're going to make paper ribbons now. Our first cut is at 11 3/4, 11 1/2, 11 1/4, 10 1/4. So you're going down quite a ways now, and 6 1/4. Okay, let's rotate the 6 1/4, and we'll trim at 8 1/2 and 4 1/4. You have 2 pieces the same again, pocket 7 and 8. And then you have the little rectangle. We're going to do a little something different here. We're going to cut this at 4 1/4. Place the 4 1/4 inch piece in pocket 1 and 2. And then you have this little rectangle that fell off the end. Trim it at 2 3/4, this horizontally, of course. And this goes in pocket 3 and 4. Plus, this is the last scrap, I promise. This one is a scrap again. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 little scraps. Not bad. This next strip, this is 4 by 12. We're going to cut it in half at 6. And both of these rectangles go in pocket 7 and 8. All right, now we've got this wider strip, 3 and 4, and then you have 3 skinny guys. 2 of them go in 3 and 4, and the final one, 1 and 2. Now the fun begins with our Cutaparts. There is a message for you on the outer perimeter of this sheet, and there's also a plus sign. I call those like cutting guides. And we need to remove this paper so that we are creating a 12 by 12. So you're going to remove a little piece from each outer edge, trying to align the blade of your trimmer with that little line. Now it's kind of hard to see because it's pretty busy paper, but I think you'll get the idea. I'm just going to trim my first side off pretty generously. Okay, so I'm just taking a little shaving. I still have the line there, so I'm just going to rotate now. And this time I should be able to see much better to align that white line at the top and at the bottom edge of my trimmer for my next cut. And then just keep rotating. So I'm going to rotate again and line it up with the edge of the silver blade, so the outside edge of the silver color, not the black color. Hopefully you can see that okay. When I make this rotation, I should be able to just cut it at 12. And then one more flip around and I can cut at 12. And I'm going to take all those little shavings and get rid of them. Now I can place this in the trimmer, if it's not already, with a light purple strip on the right. And we're going to cut between all the artworks here. So our first trim is at 10 1/2, 9, 7, 5, and 3. When I teach this in a live class, everyone's at a different pace, but some people just fly through it. They don't need me to call out any numbers at all. They just go to town. It's really cool to see what happens when you practice this method and improve time over time. Now this piece we shine brighter together, pocket 3 and 4. And then we have this other piece. I'm just going to put it in right side up. Normally I like to have my little pieces on the right, but we'll cut at 4 1/2. Warning, easily distracted by shiny things. That describes me. Pocket 1 and 2. Lovely memories. Pocket 7 and 8. I thought the shiny things page would be really cute for an engagement photo. All right, let your light shine bright. 1 and 2. Shine like the whole universe is yours. 7 and 8. The final 2 light purple strips. 5 and 6. Okay, one more session of shaving the edges here. So I'm going to Once again, start by taking some off generously and then rotating so I can get a better look at the blade at the top and bottom of my trimmer. And it's hard for me to describe this experience to you, and maybe you're not using the same trimmer I am. I mean, you should, but maybe you're not, and that's okay. But you'll get the idea when you're looking at this. You're going to go, oh, I know what you mean by making the first cut a little more generous and then coming back and taking that last shaving off. Okay, I'll get rid of my edges here. Now I have my 12 by 12, and I'm going to take this circular border here on the right and cut at 11 and 10, 9.5, 9, 7, and 4. Now again, rotations usually happen in this direction. Okay, so that's counterclockwise because we have a small object here on the right, and we'll go at 9 and 6. This one goes in pocket 1 and 2, and then these two, I believe, both go, yes, 5 and 6, and then we have our strip here. Now you have a vertical journaling prompt here on the right. That's the smallest object, or one of the smallest, so we'll start at 10, 8, 6, and all the way down to 3. This piece, pocket 5 and 6. Our circular medallion, 7 and 8. We're going to cut that out. And then you've got your horizontal journaling prompt in 3 and 4. The vertical light purple, 1 and 2. And this last one in 5 and 6. Okay, I think these are going to be our last cuts. Make sure the medallions are on the right, and we'll cut at 10, 8, and 6. Pocket 3 and 4, hope shines brightly. And you got your 3 medallions, pocket 1 and 2. And we have these 2 light purple strips. Split them up. One of them goes in 1 and 2. The other in 3 and 4. Make sure it goes in there. Okay, then we have these other 2 strips, 1 and 2, and 7 and 8. That was the last cut. So that means everything for all 8 layouts is in this handy little organizer, and you can put your trimmer away. How cool is that? Next up, you can take your remaining papers and just keep them all together in a stack. I like to use my workspace as efficiently as I can. And so just keeping this in a stack to the left of the center of your workspace and sliding the top sheet over, to me seems like the best, format for efficiency. Because if you can't tell, that's kind of how I roll. Okay, we're going to work our way from the back of the page set, that's number 8, all the way up to 1, so that when you begin sticking things down, you're working from 1 to 8, and every piece has been assigned to where it's going to end up. Okay, so turn to page 4 of your instructions and look at layout 7 and 8 here. I've got what's needed for both of those pages. Looks like I have this rotated like this. But it doesn't matter. You can just do it however you want. It's your own page. But what would be helpful is if at this point you empty pocket 7 and 8 and don't accidentally empty pocket 1 and 2, because it's happened to me. All right. Now, what I like to do when I'm distributing all the pieces is deal them out from the palm of my hand rather than one at a time from the tabletop. It seems to be a little more efficient. All right. So starting out with our cream speckle photomats here on the left, and the reason I do that is to carry that color over, and then there should be some smaller, so if it's the same size it goes here, the larger dark purple go on the right, and the smaller dark purple nest onto the cream on the left. How cool is that? Now level with the bottom edge of this piece, I'm going to add this vertical one, and then I'm going to frame that with a cream speckle strip that nests perfectly with this border. And then I went ahead and wrapped this strip with that gorgeous 2 yards of chiffon, like a gold colored chiffon in the kit. Then you have another wider strip of that cream speckle that should nest with our lovely memories. On the right, we've got up at the top this piece of the round medallion print, and then beneath it I'll add this page title here. I love that. You'll trim the circle from this, and it's going to go in that spot, and then you've got 4 squares up top. Okay, now you're going to notice there's like a little bit of pattern in here, and that came from this really cool masking stencil. Now what I did is I kind of knew where I had to stop with my stenciling, and if you want you can tape it down, you can protect your work surface with whatever you need. Whatever scrap paper you have on hand, I always use our grid paper pads and just slide it underneath there. You may want to also mask off the rest of the workspace. I'm using our yellow ink, but you can use amethyst or ash or earth or whatever color you happen to use. I'm also using our brush ink applicator, but again, if you have a preferred applicator, you can use that. And then you'll just fill the openings with ink, and you're going to add that art to the page. It's going to look so pretty. And the cool part about this is that you can use the stencil again and again. So if you want to make it with cards, if you want to make anything you want, you can add this pattern. It's going to be so pretty, and it's something you can use again and again. Now we did ship a stencil to a customer one point who had never used a stencil, and she cut it and trimmed it and put it on her page because she thought it was an embellishment. So hey, to each their own. You can do that too if you would like. I just wanted to give you an idea of how that worked, and now I have started to get that pattern on the page. Once again, you can use any color you want. I wanted to go kind of subtle, and you can do just the bottom edge and the left edge a little bit, just so that you can plan it out so you don't apply more stencil than you need to, and you have a nice lovely texture you've been able to add to your page. Again, that step can be omitted if you prefer, but I want to be sure you know how it works because they're kind of fun to play with. All right, I'm going to show you the finished version of this layout here, layout 8. Sorry, that's 7. Here's 8, and you can see my stenciling here in the background. Now, the circle was trimmed. I used a die cut, a thin die, but you can also use scissors, that's fine too. And then we have that beautiful charm, and the charm has 2 loops, one on each end, which is perfect. Now, I cut a really deep angle into my ribbon, and this works especially well if you have a fabric scissors to do it, or scissors you haven't used with paper. So something like that will allow you to thread it through that hole, okay? And then you'll do that twice. So you have a piece of ribbon, and the taffeta works really well. A piece of ribbon coming out from each side, really sweet. And then you just tape it around to the back. I found it easiest too if you just put a little adhesive in the middle, like an ATG style adhesive, plop it on, and that way it kind of will hold it while you wrap those ends around to the back of the circle. Easy peasy. All right, that's pretty much it for the details on that page. It's pretty straightforward. Same with the left side. Let me show you. All right, this is page 7, and I just wrapped that entire strip with a piece of that beautiful chiffon or organza ribbon, and then I tied this onto it. Okay, so this is piece of ribbon 1, piece of ribbon 2, and it's going to just give you a sweet little accent to this page. Everything else is just simply glued in place as you'd expect, and we're ready to roll on to our next layout. So I'll pick up just that round medallion print and slide it on over, and then take the dark purple, slide that over, and hypothetically I'm going to rotate this so the bright yellow is in the upper right corner. We technically have everything we need for layout 5 and 6, and then we need to empty that pocket as well. Make sure you don't miss anything. I did have a piece fall out, so I'm going to grab that. And we'll begin with placing our light purple photo mats. I think that's a great place to start because that's going to help us gauge the placement of everything else. Now granted, if you don't finish these pages right away with adhesive, you're going to slide them into a bag and everything's going to roll down to the bottom, but it really will maintain its positioning pretty well. You'll be surprised. All right, so this strip goes here, and then underneath it I placed a whole strip of this metallic gold purple ribbon. So pretty underneath there. Let's see. This little corner medallion goes obviously in the corner, and it fits just perfect. Beneath this horizontal light purple, I will add the speckle. And it's nice that I've shaved off the end so that we can space it and just have this nice frame, nice consistent spacing from the edges of the page to between these two pieces. So pretty. Beneath that, oh, we can add this guy. And above it, this guy. So then you'll kind of know how much space you have to work with there. Now we have this cream photo mat also here, but then it's going to house this pretty artwork and the sentiment. Now, if you have a lot of pictures you want to put on this page, put them there. You know, put one picture there and one picture there, right? Photos are number one. I added this triangularly, and then this gets one of those gold medallions on top with the taffeta again across the top of the journaling prompt, and I kind of tucked that in right here. And let's take a look at those finished pages. I hope that if you're new to this method, you're like, oh my goodness, this is just flying along here. This is probably the most efficient way to make your pages. If you start out with photos, have to shop for paper colors, figure out what you're going to do with them, figure out how you're going to crop your photos. It's going to take you 10 times longer than having your pages done and just bringing your photos to the pages. I'm just saying. Okay, so here's that beautiful purple ribbon. I just tied a knot into it, wrapped the ends around at the back before I nested it here. That's really the only detail. For attaching the doily, which is so pretty, I just used bookbinding glue on the outer edges and then in some of the larger solid areas. And then I dispensed it from my needle tipped applicator. Now on this page, wrapped the ribbon, I did add a little dry adhesive so that the ribbon wouldn't buckle because it stretched a long way, all 12 inches, and adhered on the back. Then I, again, have my gold medallion suspended with the taffeta. Good to go. We will take the round medallion print, pick it up, slide it over to the right, slide the next piece over to the right, and then we have to go back one page in our instructions. So reversing here back to page 3, and we will be emptying pocket labeled 3 and 4, hoping everything is in there that we need to finish this beautiful page. Everyone at the warehouse was so thrilled with how this all came together. All the pieces, they really loved it. I love it too. I hope you do. Okay, now on the left side I have this beautiful strip from that round medallion print over here. And then I'm going to take these 2 purple mats and we'll go horizontal on those. Got a couple dark purple paper ribbons here. Those are those really thin strips. So I'm going to take one of them and put it right up against that printed strip and then add our gorgeous cut apart followed by one more of these strips. So it's kind of like a fake out. Like it looks like this is nested onto a huge sheet of purple, but it's not. It's just got a 1/4 inch sheet on each side. Talk about deception. Then we have our gold colored mat here down at the bottom. And I'm going to take the purple, go horizontal, nest it with gold again, or green, whatever you want to call it. It's a greenish gold. And then this guy, so pretty. Okay, we should have 2 vertical cream speckle photo mats. They were trimmed by you. And then we have this lovely sentiment here on the right. All kinds of little pieces. And this was me at the end. Like, ooh, I know how I can use that. So here this nests. And then you should have another like smaller one. So mathematically this kind of adds up and that nests there. Oh, I love that. Oh, this one gets a nest too, so that it's the same height as the photo mats. And then your last 2 pieces nest as well, and those go over here. Darling. Add a gold medallion, again with the taffeta. Let's take a peek at those finished pages. Here we have a little detail I want to point out. I used my craft knife to just slice and slice and slice. So that way I could thread the ribbon in and out of this cut apart through the open space and wrap the ends around at the back. So again, that's a little bit of advanced craft knife skills. And I had to go through 2 layers of paper. So just kind of keep that in mind if you want to try it. But I think that's really pretty. Or you could do something else with the ribbon there as an alternative. And then over on the other side, very straightforward. Again, finishing with the gold medallion charm. My phone just informed me that I'm running low on battery, so I'm going to try it. I'm going to try to get this done. This is page 1 and 2. Let's get everything out of pocket 1 and 2 after sliding the light purple over. And let's see if we can make it. I'm going to ignore the low battery sign on my phone. All right, let's add this to the lower left corner of the light purple on this side, and then the half Z goes on the right side. Now you should have 3 of these mustard colored mats, 1, 2, 3, and then you'll find this little border strip here. You need a green photo mat for this upper section, and that's going to get your sentiment. And then there's another dark purple mat that will fit the same width. Now on the left side, I'm going to start out with this title here at the top, Let Your Light Shine. And then we're going to get a little space and then one of those dark purple paper ribbons, followed by this wide piece. Then your gold border strip will shove up against that and then nest with this lovely border strip. You've got a green nest for this guy, a horizontal dark purple mat. I think I'm going to make it. Oh, it's the Thursday night before Thanksgiving. I don't want to be here much longer to charge my phone. And then 3 little medallions that are purple, those sunburst gems. Oh, so pretty. Didn't mean to rush you, but yeah, I'm sure you understand. Here we have page 2. Again, just bookbinding glue for this piece. Page 1, bookbinding glue to attach that. Very straightforward. Allow that little space in there for more color, and then boom, 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 bookbinding glue to add those gorgeous medallions to your page, and you are all set. Okay, I did it. We made it, and I hope you loved these pages. The Luminary Kit is just a stunner, and I can't wait for you to make these for yourself. If you'd like the page kit and want to make the cards, I have an hour-long class for that as well. 12 cards, 3 gorgeous styles. One is called a telescoping card, so I hope I've piqued your curiosity. If you watched the video and enjoyed it or learned something, make sure you give me a thumbs up, and I'd love to have a comment. If you have time to make one, that would be much appreciated, and it would really help our channel. Ultimately though, please subscribe to Club Scrap as a member. We'd love to have you join us, and plus you will save $8 on every kit as long as you're a member. And there's no minimum time commitment because it's my job to earn your loyalty. All right, I'll see you next time in our page kit workshop in the beginning of January. Can't wait.